Okay, it's recording. Hey, Jacques, how's it going?
Lucky you, Donovan.
Very good, thanks. Very good. So, did you enjoy this weekend of rugby?
Is that a trick question? No, I didn't really enjoy it. I was looking forward to this game more than I have in a long time for North-South derby. I don't think I was even that excited ahead of the first round game that we had, because I really thought the guys would come to the party. I thought they're going to be in a frame of mind where, okay, we've had a bye, we've learned our lesson, and we're going to, this time around we'll capitalize on something good. But it seems like it's a South African thing. The whole, I see it happen in the sevens, tournament after tournament, where we get an opportunity handed to us on a silver platter. Now I'm talking about sevens now. But it's almost like it's a South African thing. That's what I want to say, basically, where any South African team get an opportunity to do something. In this case, for the Bulls, it was an opportunity to extend that lead on the leaderboard and on the overall log. And now the conference is completely blown open. It's anybody's stake, literally. All we needed to do was beat the Stormers and beat the Waratahs this weekend, who's clearly not doing very well. They're missing their best player. It's opportunities for the taking, and yet our team doesn't do it. So I don't understand where the problem lies. I honestly don't. But I also, let's leave it at that for now.
Well, I was quite worried because I think there's only 4 points between the top and the bottom of the African Conference, 26 to 22, and I thought, and I was getting quite angry with inconsistencies, but I had to really put it in context that 4 African sides have qualified.
They're in the qualifying spots, which is nice, but they're not in ideal positions. The only team that's basically in the ideal position, well, as it stands, is the Sharks. After this weekend, there's no way. Can I even say that? I want to say there's no way that the Sharks are going to beat the Crusaders.
No.
And you'd expect the Bulls to beat a below par Waratahs team.
Yeah.
So that means it's changing this weekend again.
Yeah.
But so I felt the Bulls missed the trick here. They honestly did, and they let themselves down in that first half. The second half was good. If we had played like we did in the second half, it was a complete different situation. But for some or other reason, we were slow. That was the first thing that caught my eye. We were slow, and the Stormers brought the game to us. Yeah. They were, they upped the pace, which is very, very weird because we normally the team that's what we did at Loftus. So I don't understand where things went wrong there. Secondly, we were kicking away everything. We haven't seen that game this year at all, and now suddenly, what's going on? I just don't get those two factors that stood out the most for me in the first half, and yet in the second half, and even in the first half, when we kept ball in hand, it was evident how what we could do with the ball, and that we could score. Every time we kept the ball. Well, we only scored one try, unfortunately.
Yeah.
For some other reason, the Stormers' defense was very good this week. They kept us out. Last time we were running holes through them, but I just feel we didn't have any trust in our retaining the ball ability.
Exactly.
We are so dangerous with ball in hand, and somehow, we to Newlands with a different ball game.
I felt that. Because it was classic when I saw Mani Lebok when all he had to do was pass.
Yeah.
Like literally, and I think it was the commentator said it's harder to mess it up than actually score. And they messed up.
He made it look the other way around.
And
honestly, that was the easiest try we could have scored on the day.
Exactly. And literally all he had to do was offload once and it would have been a try. But what I felt was that it doesn't seem like the players trust the players around them.
Yes. Well, I think there's some of them that do, but I agree with you in that regard. It looked like most of them, they they were almost playing the game the Stormers were playing a week ago against the Brumbies. It was everyone for himself. And for some reason, it happened to us this weekend. I mean, a few minutes after Marnie's whatever he was thinking, I mean, we had Warwick go and kick the ball out. I mean, I understand the idea was there, but the idea, why did you not kick the ball on the ground rather?
Yeah.
And if you did want to kick it, why do you kick it in the air when you're 5 meters away from the try line? I mean, it's absurd.
Exactly.
I'm sorry.
I just
felt very strange decisions being made by quality players.
Yeah. Because I was looking and I thought, geez, if you just played 2 or 3 more phases, you would have broken through the line.
Even that. I mean, he could have backed himself, I would have said even.
Yeah.
I don't understand. It's one thing I've noticed with Warwick. He doesn't back himself. He doesn't back himself at all. And when you that close to the try line, any player on the team, doesn't matter which player you are, even if you were Monty Librock, who's probably the skinniest guy on the field, should back himself 5 meters out. Momentum would carry you over the line. And I mean, you've got support around you, which would probably come and help you. Like you say, I mean, 1 or 2 more phases, and it was a definite try. But I think if Alang had backed himself, he probably could have scored it. And he had Libok on his outside, which the kick was meant for. But the kick was wrong. And the same, going back to Mani, yes. Yeah, I mean, like now he's saying Galan should have backed himself. But you've got a guy next to you in regards to the Mani Libok incident. You got a guy with an open try line next to you. Why back yourself?
Yeah.
So it's like guys want making the right decisions at the right time.
Yeah. But I just felt when I was watching the game, because I only really saw Lurt was leaving last week, but I only saw this week the reasons why he's leaving.
Oh, I see what you say.
Yeah, and that because it came out that there's issues in with contracts and things like that where people haven't been offered contracts for next year, and I know Jesse's going, Lurt's going. There's been no contract extension for Dwayne, so there's a hell of a lot happening in the back room that just seems like there's a lot of uncertainty happening there.
Well, I'm sure you've been following the whole situation around Zander Janse van Rensburg that's now come to the front, the fraud and stuff that's been committed. And now he's actually going to be, what's the word in English? He's going to be charged, to be prosecuted. So, I tweeted a lot about this. I've been on this thing for, strangely enough, I didn't even realize it that long, but 2 years now. I mean, a tweet, I don't know how. Someone went through my timeline. I don't know. They got a lot of time on their hands because I tweet a lot. And someone found a tweet of mine from October 2017, which they liked. And only when I saw that, I realized how far back I've been talking about, or I've been warning people, and I've been saying, this guy is poison. Get him out. Get him out. And no, I don't want to do dirty laundry and stuff anyway, but the signs were there. I mean, if I don't work at Loftus even, but if I see from an outsider's point of view what this guy was doing, and it's only coming to the fore now, that is a scary, scary thought. And it's just more proof that sometimes maybe the unions need to just take some guys serious and actually listen and not slight them. I mean, I was actually threatened with lawsuits at that stage. Back off from this guy, and now look what's happened. So it's it's funny how the wheel turns. But anyway, I wonder if this hasn't got a knock-on effect to what's happening now, like you say, with the reasons that Lurt's been given or that he's giving to the media, of contract extensions, no contracts being offered. That is very, very strange. But all I can assume is that it's got something to do with what's happened in the past. And they're busy with serious investigations at the moment. And obviously that is hampering the fact that they need to get contracts in place. Yeah, well, but I'm sure if Lurt is sharing this with the media, then I'm very sure that the union is aware of this themselves.
Yeah,
So,
because I was
and
looking
I'm
at
sure
saying,
they will be putting things into place to try and see what they can salvage. But I know for the last year and a bit, if it's not 2 years already, I know for a fact that at the end of this year, the Bulls are going to run empty, like in properly, quality-wise. I actually told someone this week, I can bet you my bottom dollar, the Bulls will be dead last in Super Rugby next year. And I say that with all due respect.
I can't handle that.
Sorry, man.
No, it's just I think I'll be teased so much. Yeah, everyone really
Look, I
teases me
mean,
with my team
we can only
leaders.
hope that the youngsters or the guys that are going to stick around, that they will believe in the union. And I think the things that are happening at the union now should hopefully send them some kind of positive vibe.
Well, they need to start dealing with it now. Yeah, start
Well,
recruiting
yeah,
now
the
for
sooner
next
the
year.
better. Clearly, I mean, if you're saying things like this, where there's no contracts, negotiations, or nothing being said to the players, like we can, because look, I know there's certain times of the year that you aren't allowed to do contract negotiations. So I can only think that um, maybe that is part of why they're not doing something. But I mean, there must be an open policy regarding that to tell the players, listen, we want you here, but we can't do anything because of
Yeah,
regulation. I'm
yeah.
guessing now, but
Well,
yeah,
well,
let's hope something is happening though. Anyway, whether there's regulations in place or not, hopefully there's at least just some talks happening.
yeah. Ooh, what's going on here? Okay, sorry. Yeah, because I was reading up because the rumor mill is out that Andre Pollard's been offered I think a French contract, 1.2 million euros.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like something like 20 million, just over 20 million rand. I
yeah.
mean, you can't blame a guy like that to leave. You can't.
No, exactly. Look, between 2 years after a World Cup, you should let the guys go in any case. Like to go make money. I honestly believe that. Like a financial sabbatical, they go make 40 million rand, and then when we start building up for the World Cup again, then you start filtering them back in. I believe that. You can't stop the
Well,
guys from going to make money.
it's
Eh?
going to be interesting to see how this thing with Rassi is going to work out, because he's got this wonderful idea of paying players more but allowing them to play overseas.
Yeah.
Now you got a guy earning 20 million rand. Does he really want to come back? Is it worth his while to play for the Boks? There's so many factors, you
Yeah, I
know.
think if I could be wrong. I think it was 2.5 that they were being offered. That's the top players. Their Springbok
You mean
contracts. I think
locally?
yeah. If they stay in South Africa, then I think it's 2.5 for the top players, and then obviously they still got to get paid from the union. And if the union matches that, it's only 5 million.
The union won't match it, and I know that in South Africa, I can't remember. I watched the thing the other day where they were discussing it. So what happens is, Saru actually, this plan that Rassi's got, what will happen is that Saru will pay a portion of
Yeah.
the union salary basically. So there's no way that a union will be able to match it.
Yeah. No.
Not that the attendances and the way the unions are making money at the moment, because they're not making money.
I
2.5
think.
million for one player. Imagine now you're sitting with Jesse, you're sitting with Andre, Luet, RG. These are top players we're talking about. They will be in that bracket somewhere. So if you add them up, let's just say each of them earn 1.5. That's four players at 6 million gone.
Yeah.
It's a
It's tough.
scary thought.
Well, look, listening to Rusty's plan, I understand the plan that he has. Well, I think I have it. So that they identify 5 players per position.
Yes,
So
that's
five
right.
hookers, 5, 10, so it'd be 20 by 10 props, 5 loose head, 5. And then if the top player wants to stay, then they get the bulk of the money. And then, but if they go, then that money that was allocated for the top player filters down to the other 4 players.
Okay.
So what I think they're trying to do is, I think Rusty's saying the guys are going to go. The top players, like Malcolm Marx, he's going to get a 1.5 million euro contract somewhere.
It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, and you just can't compete against it. So I think what he's trying to do is to try to create the depth with the other players, the other 4 or 5 players, to try to stay competitive so that they're getting Springbok training and they're getting they're part of the system.
Well, look, the other understanding that I have is that the players that are overseas aren't necessarily going to be tried to lure back, but they will say that, like what happened this year, for instance, was, and I think it might have happened last year as well. Well, sorry, I'm actually talking about last year because this year we haven't had Springbok tests. We had that situation with Bismarck and Franz Steyn. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah, so
they were, one moment they were on their way in, and the next moment they were nowhere. And it was that whole thing about, well, apparently the French club said, if you go play for the Boks, we won't pay you. Stuff like that. So Rusty's counter plan is, well, we'll offer you more. So it's a matter of basically a player is going to sit there with 2 checks in front of him. He's going to look at which one offers him most. And unfortunately, money talks.
Well,
they can say what they want. Loyalty's gone out the door ages ago.
I also think, coaching is also a big thing. And I honestly believe a good coach can make a team better than the sum of its parts. Yeah.
Yes,
look at the Crusaders. The Crusaders have some amazing players in them, but they do the simple things well.
Yes.
Perfectly. Yeah. So
they capitalize on mistakes.
Exactly. So if you've got a team that knows how to defend, because defense can be coached.
Yes.
And maybe they don't have the full-on attack or anything like that, but they can defend. They're getting up for the next player. Eventually you can coach that. So I don't think I'm not taking anything away from the coaches in South Africa. I just don't think we have the top flight coaches available here.
If we're talking Super Rugby teams, then I agree with you 100%. I mean, it's week in and week out. We hear from one union to the next, this guy needs to be fired, this guy needs this and that, and there's no real coach at the moment.
No.
Or maybe Swice, and I think things are getting rough there.
Yeah, I didn't realize that
the Lions supporters are trying. I think the Lions supporters are biting on their tongues in more ways than one, where they're not at that stage of yet bashing Swice. But the rest of the unions, there's not one coach that doesn't get slated week after week. I think Twitter is still, it's a bit iffy around here. But if you look at Robbie Fleck and Robert de Pre, it's a consistent, get rid of them. I mean, and sometimes, when I look at that Stormers game from last week, when they played the Brumbies, you got to, I felt, honestly, you can't blame it on Robbie Fleck. You can't. At some stage, players need to start taking responsibility.
Yeah.
You can't dominate the game or be in charge of a game and then lose it. Not the way they did. How do you blame the coach? He wasn't on the field. So I just feel sometimes it's too easy to blame the coach. It's only one guy. It's not 23 guys you have to blame or get rid of. So I don't know sometimes, but I know we as South African supporters are very harsh. That's the other thing.
I just don't understand how we can have world-class school players, world-class under 21s. How can we have world-class under 21s, world-class school players, and then when they jump up to Currie Cup is fairly competitive, and then it jumps up to Super Rugby, and then it's just poof. It's just like the skill level just disappears.
Well, I think that's the secret you just mentioned there, the skill level. Do our players need rugby coaching or do they need skills coaching? I mean, how would you rate our skills to the best, which is New Zealand? Do we see the same amount? If we had to say player percentage, so you take 10 players from New Zealand versus 10 players from South Africa. Out of those 10, how many would have the same skill level or even close enough? If it makes sense what I'm trying to say. I don't think we'll have 10 New Zealand skillful players versus how many would you say out of 10 would we have?
Well, I'm going to take it. We're talking about other players from other unions, which we're not supposed to be.
You can pick anybody you want. I'm not talking.
If I took centres, just centres, I'd say currently playing. Don't take me wrong this way. Probably our most skillful centre is probably Lukhanyo Arm. In my opinion, I think the guy understands skillful. You know, the guy understands space. He understands when to kick. He understands. He's good at defence. And that's one centre that I can think of that's actually got skill. Jesse Creel's got he's got a different kind of skill, but it's not Lukhanyo Arm skill. And then I look at New Zealand, and you've got Ryan Crotty, Jack Goodhue, Lamapi, which is more Jesse Creel kind of player. So I don't really count him. So, but you just look at the depth that they have just at centres, skill level wise. Sonny Bill Williams.
Yes, exactly. It's not a team in New Zealand that doesn't have, where, like you say, just look at the centres. There's almost, you can't find a bad centre that lacks skill.
Yeah.
And that, we can't say that in South Africa. We talk, you could mention one name that is scary. It's, but why? Why don't you have it?
Is probably.
Oh, yeah, maybe you should play centre. Same with Schalk Brits. I saw someone tweet today, so Jesse Creel is out. What are the chances of Schalk Brits being put into 13 this weekend? I mean, geez, I mean, it's as crazy as it sounds. Why not? Jeepers, I mean, yeah, it's crazy. I know it will never happen, but
no.
with the inconsistency we're seeing at the moment, why not?
Yeah.
I think you'd enjoy it.
Yeah, I would. I think you could probably do it.
And I mean that's one of the questions I just keep asking is, how do we develop skills, or are we even trying to, or do we just expect the guys that they are playing top flight rugby, they already have it? I don't agree with that. You might be playing top flight rugby because that's the best there is. I don't know, did you maybe see last week Monday, not this Monday, but the weekend before? It was a public holiday, and there was a tournament on SuperSport, Super 8 Saldanha Easter Festival.
And I only saw a bit of it, but I just saw it
but if you did see a bit of it, I mean, there is some sick skills going on there, running lines that are scary. And I was actually, when we were watching it, I was actually telling a colleague of mine, it would be interesting to see one of these teams play a Super Rugby team, any Super Rugby team, in South Africa, I mean. And whether they win or lose, that's irrelevant. I just would like to see them play against, because that is a raw talent. There's no structure of, you have to do this. They let these guys play with freedom. And it would be interesting just to see, even if you just let them play for 40 minutes, they don't have to play a full 80 minutes, but it would just be interesting to see what kind of thing comes out of it. And how does raw talent versus structured talent?
Well, I look at it and I go, if I look at schoolboy rugby, the skills that are on display, just natural ability is just phenomenal.
But that is what I'm talking about, raw talent. Because in schools rugby, the guys aren't as structured as they are in Super Rugby or Currie Cup.
Even I was watching Varsity Cup. I'd hate to be at the breakdown at Varsity Cup. Gee, it was absolutely intense. At the breakdown, everyone's competing.
I almost want to say there's no control. It looks that bad. But I mean, look at the exciting rugby it delivers.
Exactly. And just something disappears when
the crowds are so big. I mean, the crowds are consistently bigger than the Super Rugby matches.
They are. They actually are.
I don't know. It's like we all. I mean, it's like us fans, we seem to see things which the guys in the right seats don't. And that's when the questions start coming out, and you wonder, but we're all watching the same game. How or what is causing them to hold back or not do what we can see they can do? We all know all these talents. I always say this: when a player was first discovered, he was discovered on his own raw, pure talent, nothing else. And then he gets pulled into a Union or a Springbok side, and he gets changed.
Mm.
But you didn't select. He wasn't playing that rugby when you selected him. So why do you want to now reinvent the wheel? And it just boggles my mind.
I was
Year
watching.
in, year out.
I was watching the breakdown. That New Zealand show. Because I find it super interesting. They do knock the
It's a
South
great
African
show.
side every now and again.
Yeah.
But I was watching them, and they were talking about the one guy Williams. He was saying, "Why are the Crusaders so good?" Because the Crusaders, what they say to their players when they arrive, they say, "Listen, what are you good at? You know,
I
how do you
actually
want
saw
to,
that episode. Yes.
yeah, how do you want to play? Because we'll help you play the way you want to play.
Yes,
We'll
they
say
encourage
this
it.
is what you want." And they encourage that. They encourage to say, "You do what you do best, and we'll help you be the best you can be." Whereas South African side, change.
When I watched that episode, I mean, and I heard him say that, it was
Yeah,
just like, it's like, it's like a brain explosion almost. It's like, but surely, I mean, this is a team that's won Super Rugby 9 times,
yeah.
and yet we can't find a way to be better. And there's a guy, former All Black, one of the best, and he tells you exactly what the basic of it. So that's exactly what I just said now. Is about, we as fans see these things, but our coaches, the guys in the right seats, they go and they say, "No, I like your talent. I want you in my team, but I want you to play differently." Almost
Well, I
like
think
we want to destroy players.
the only coach that I can think of, or he's gone now. Obviously, who was the Lions coach?
Johan Ackerman.
Yeah, he's probably the only coach that plays for the players. And they're saying, and they were talking because I watch a lot. I watch a lot of Premiership rugby as well, and the
Yeah.
players love him. Because they all want to work together and they all want to play for each other. And look where he's taken that side.
Yes,
Gloucester.
exactly.
So
that's the thing. And I mean, like you say, you're hearing the players say these things.
yeah,
Players won't say something just because for some random reason. They say it because it's true. And I mean, I know when Johan Ackerman used to be at the Lions, you used to listen to interviews from players of that sort. Then you hear the same kind of trend where, the coach he backs his players' abilities. It's not the other way around.
yeah.
And I don't know why. It's like, if I can come back to the Bulls, I'm starting to ask the question. I mean, I really had a lot of faith. I still have a bit of faith in Puerto. I do think he's the right guy, and I think he's got the ability. But for some weird reason, if I look at what happened this weekend, or not what happened this weekend, I look at the team selection, specifically the bench. Then, okay, fair enough. I know Roscoe Speckman has apparently just come back from injury. So what they're doing is they let them play a Super Sport Challenge game first and come back. You know what? In all honesty, a guy like Roscoe Speckman doesn't have to play a Super Sport Challenge match. He needs to be where he was at the beginning of the season when you back him. When you back him without having him ever played a 15-man. Well, no, I can't say never. He played for the Cheetahs, but he's never ever played for the Bulls. And you, in the first game of the season, you backed him. He scored you 2 tries against the Stormers, and now you let him play a Super Sport Challenge match. Honestly, at what stage does that send out a vibe to the change room that the coach isn't backing you anymore?
Yeah, yeah.
If you're good enough to play Super Sport Challenge, you're good enough to play Super Rugby.
No, exactly.
It's a rugby game at the end of the day.
What do you think of Andre as captain?
Well, the only other option is, with Lewitt being out, is probably Dwayne. And I know the reason they backed Andre was only because Dwayne is a junior at the Bulls, if you can call it that, in regards. I mean,
Please.
It's absurd. I know it's absurd, but I know that is what was said.
No, no,
Dwayne. Luet, it was actually when Luet was named the captain, not Andre. Andre was only named because Andre is the vice captain. That I know. And obviously, with Luet being out, they automatically made Andre the.
I'm not saying
Dwayne is the vice captain.
I'm not saying he's a bad captain, but you need someone that the refs respect. That all of them respect Dwayne Vermeulen, and they know exactly who he is. The guy's played so much rugby for so many different teams. He's got over 100 Super Rugby caps. He's captain Toulouse. He's captain the Box at one point. 1 or 2 games. So, geez, why not have that experience?
I hear what you say. The thing is, if you look at what happened this weekend, I don't know if you saw that incident with the Herschel Yankees try.
No.
When Dylan Lights got the ball, he started attacking and he started running through the guys.
Yes,
if you've got the game, go and try and look at. I don't know if you have. You got DSTV.
Mm-hmm.
So he was blocked. I don't know if you've got the catch up channel.
No, I've got an old PVR.
Okay, unfortunately. You should actually try and get DSTV now on your computer. Then you can watch it. So if you can, go and catch up and then watch last night's episode of Super Rugby. It's an Afrikaans show.
Yeah, and I've got it recorded.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, I record it every week.
Okay, but you haven't watched it yet.
No, not yet.
Okay, so if you want to, unfortunately I can't remember what time in the show it was, but it's about halfway through. They discuss this incident that I'm talking to you about, where, what's his name, Damien Willemse, actually pulled Embrace Spear out of the way.
Yes, I saw that.
So that should have been a penalty towards the Bulls. And now, if you go and look at the real time of that game, you will actually see. Firstly, you'll see. Well, in fact, on his way to the try line, you'll see Dwayne throw his arms in the air, protesting about something. That is that incident. Then you'll see Warwick Galant protest about it, and then you'll actually see when the referee has awarded the try and he's starting to walk back to give for the conversion, you'll see Jesse actually in his face asking him to look at, ask the TMO to look at it, and he refused. Why did he refuse? Because none of them are the captain. Only the captain is really allowed to speak. So where was Andre at that stage? Why wasn't Andre getting involved? You know what I'm saying? The same happened with the first try. That there was they never saw it happen though, but that last pass to Sergio Peterson, a very clear forward pass from Siya Kolisi. But the Bulls and Andre, you can hear it in the background. Andre actually has a conversation about that initial ruck that happened at the try line from where the try eventually came.
Yeah.
Because there was an incident where Dylan Lights was actually offside, and the ref, he did actually call the TMO to look at it, and they came back and said, no, there was nothing wrong, whatever. But I mean, that call to me wasn't so bad. But they missed a forward pass in the meantime anyway.
Yeah. But look, we can't.
Unfortunately, there's water under the bridge.
Yeah.
But just go look at the video that is on Super Rugby, and then you will see how shocking and blatantly, that incident was. And yet, and I can tell you that the TMO, Glenn Jackson actually did speak to Marius Jonker about it, and Marius Jonker said, play on. And the conversion was taken.
Yeah, and then there's nothing you can do.
So it's very bad when a TMO makes a call like that. I don't know if he was trying to justify the Bulls try, which Dwayne's pass was a forward pass. But in defense of that, then what I will do is I'll say this. Okay, fair enough. So they're allowed play to go on. And if you go and look at that specific try that Ivan van Zyl scores, you're going to have to go back at least 9 phases. It was 6 phases. Then Dwayne Vermeulen passed the ball forward to, I think it was Divan Rousseau, whoever was on the wing. And after that, 9 phases later, the try was only scored. which, as far as I know, the rules say you can only go back 2 phases. So had they decided to check it, they wouldn't have been allowed to check it. They had to make the call there and then. So I don't know if Marius Jonker was trying to be funny or nice or whatever and justify, it by that, by saying, well, the Bulls scored a try from a forward pass. Let's give the Stormers a try as well. Well, the Stormers scored a forward pass as well in the first try of the match.
Yeah. Well, maybe for the last 5 minutes, we'll try to be positive about this coming weekend.
Yeah, we have to be. We have to be. I need to get positivity in my life. I haven't had the greatest day, and at this stage, it's not going in the right direction.
If we can get a bonus point victory, then they'll be in the 30s. That starts pulling them away.
We have to. I mean, it's just, again, it's another opportunity, but half of the opportunity is already squandered by losing to the Stormers, and that annoys me. It really annoys me. But now, you know what? Water under the bridge. We're looking ahead. We're going with we got a Waratahs team who's playing under par. They're not convincing. Foley is struggling. I mean, you can't even get kicks over that matter. It's happened twice this season now. That I recall. I don't know. I don't watch all the matches, but there's 2 matches that I've seen where he's had to convert, a kick to save them or to win or to do this, and twice he's failed. And we're talking about easy kicks. So the morale in that team has to be low at the moment, and the Bulls need to capitalize. We've lost 4 players this weekend. So we've lost Jesse and Burger Werdendal. So that's our centers gone. I don't know who our centers are now, besides Dylan Sage, who I would assume would automatically come in. Possibly, what's his name? Johnny Kotze, who is a center. He's not a wing. And then we've lost our 2 wings. Both our wings are also gone to concussion. I don't know if you know this. So automatically, I'm looking at Roscoe and Cornell Hendricks. Even Travis Ismail. Apparently, Travis has been training with the team. He's all good and well. So he's up for selection as well. So it's a toss of the coin. I'd even maybe go as far as picking 2 big wings, going with Cornell and Travis. Don't know who's going to play 11 though, because they're both a 14.
Sheesh. Okay, so so we've only got obviously Embrace Papi will probably start this week.
If you go by the rotation thing they've been doing, which doesn't make sense, but I thought Ivan had almost. Well, then,
in all honesty,
a very bad first half.
If there's serious problems in the midfield, then I would probably take Lebok at 10 and move Andre out to 12.
Look, at the moment, I don't want to speak about Lebok, in all honesty. I've lost almost as much faith I had in him. No, I think it's ludicrous. I mean, yes, I should blame Andre as well. That first try came off a kick of Andre. How do you not kick a ball out? Why would you not kick it out firstly? And I mean, Lebok clearly didn't have the legs on that kick, because he did kick to kick out. But I mean, cheapers, you're not even getting a ball out. And why would you kick to the opposite side of the field when you've got a touchline closer to you on this side? Anyway, I know he was under pressure, but he failed twice. He failed twice. He cost the Bulls a try in both directions.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, at this stage of the game, you're the second guy that's come up with this idea, and I'm very scared at that idea. But who knows? With our center issue, we need Andre on the field. As long as Andre's on the field, then I'm okay. I think with Andre on the field, Lebok might actually just get the confidence he needs with Andre on his outside, because I'm sure Andre would actually guide him and help him.
That's what I'm thinking. If we've got Embrace playing at 9, that's pretty rock solid there from 9. You can have somebody who's inexperienced at 10, and then somebody at 12 is experienced. You're surrounded by good quality. Skulk should be back.
Yeah, no, he's supposed to be back this week, and I don't think Puerta's got much of a choice now. It's about selecting everything and anything you can.
Yeah.
Because with every loss that comes, the pressure just becomes so much more.
And
we're not out of the competition yet, so Puerta has to give it all now. I mean, in a way, we we have more pressure on us now to somehow beat the Crusaders at Loftus next week.
No, playing the Waratahs.
We're playing them this week.
The Waratahs this week.
Yeah, we're playing the Waratahs Saturday, and next week, Friday, we play the Crusaders.
Yeah, I
don't. No, it's cool. Sorry. Yeah.
I must admit, on that weekend, with the weekend.
I really feel that game of the Crusaders is becoming a bit of a non-negotiable almost. It's just a win, obviously. We can't expect a bonus point win. But that's the pressure that I think Porto is getting under now. And then we're going overseas, and we're facing 2 Australian teams first up, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And then there's another non-negotiable. We need to get 1 win out of those 2 games, if not both. Yeah. But we'll be facing the Rebels first, and then the Brumbies. So, yeah, it's pressure. On right to the end.
Yeah, well, Jacques, it's over 40 minutes now. Let's maybe wrap up. I think there was a lot to talk about because we haven't spoken for a while.
No. I think we spoke more about off the field than on the field. But there's so much to talk about. It's just one of those things. You can almost do a chat every day. It's maybe the only way we're ever gonna get this thing down.
Jacques, if people want to get in contact with you, how can they get in contact?
So I'm available on Twitter, theyellowcap.com. It's theyellowcap.com. And then, we've got a sports blog as well with the same name, theyellowcap.com. Oh, no, sorry, my Twitter handle is just theyellowcap, by the way. And our website is theyellowcap.com. And, we're always up for banter and stuff and just having some worthwhile discussions, without getting nasty or anything. So there's a lot to talk about in the world of rugby and sport.
There's Jacques. Have a great rest of the week, and I hope we have good news on the weekend.
Yeah. Let's be positive, and let's hope it's one of those bounce back weekends again, and hopefully they come to an end sooner. Maybe if we can get 2 weekends in a row, it will actually be nice.
Yeah.
That's asking a lot at this stage, but oh well. Thanks, Donovan.
Okay, chat soon. Cheers.
Cheers, bye.